ladies and gentlemen, your first comedian is coming all the way from Ireland. Please welcome to the stage is Fergal Daly.
Thank you, Alex. Cool. All right. You're gonna hit present there on. Oh, where's the clicker? Oh, okay. Cool. Let me just see if I can. I haven't. That one? This one? Oh, it's kind of slow. Okay. It's gonna make the punchlines interesting. Timing. Seriously, is this?
Maybe you can point it this way.
Can you?
Point it at the...
Oh yeah. Okay. Maybe I need to point it over there. Do I? Oh. All right. Okay. This is gonna be dangerous. Right. Okay. Cool. So normally when I get up here on this stage, I'm doing like 10 minutes of dick and poop jokes. Tonight is a unique opportunity to put a scientific twist on 10 minutes of dick and poop jokes. So today is also, oh yeah, okay, it's the 50th anniversary of the moon landings. Did you know that? Yeah. This is amazing. This is one of like humanity's greatest technical achievements, a hugely ambitious project. And this was like, you know, the man who kind of made it happen in some sense. I'll never forget his words to his mistress. We choose to do these things not because you are easy, but because I am hard. He said something similar about the moon landings. I don't know what it was. But I'm going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about brains and chemistry here tonight. I'm going to be talking about brains. I kind of wanted to talk about chemistry because a long time ago I fell in love with a beautiful Japanese chemist. She had an amazing look. She had geisha eyes. She had anime hair. And she had manganese. All right, this is the level we have, right? This is what it's going to be. What was it? Huh? Okay. Come on! What's going on? Okay, yeah, so tonight I'm going to talk about grey matter, right? Grey matter. I might look a little bit like more of an all lives matter type of a guy, but it's tonight it's grey matter. So why is it grey? Can I just like hit the space bar or something? Is that well, okay, it's going on. Okay, so it's great. So this is a diagram of a neuron, right? Okay, so you have, these are the dendrites and the soma, and they're grey, right? That's part of the reason why most of your brain is grey. And then you have this thing which is called the axon, and it's white. And so you have a mix of grey and white matter in the brain. Now, Thomas, our neuroscientist, he's studied in Japan for a long time. He started his training with his sensei, Professor Miyagi, who taught him all of the fundamentals, you know, axon, axoff. Here's Professor Miyagi just about to examine the brain of a fly. So, back to the thing. Okay, so neurons are all about signaling, right? So signals come in, electric signals come in at the dendrites, they travel up to the cell body. The cell kind of makes a decision about whether this is enough of the right type of signals, and then it might fire an electric signal out through the axon, okay? And so where an axon meets a dendrite is called a synapse. And this is what a synapse looks like when it posts a selfie on Instagram, because I don't think a synapse looks anything like this at all in real life. I don't know, maybe Thomas can clarify that later on. So the axons are very branchy, right? And in a human brain, they can be up to like a meter and a half long, right? Which is pretty crazy. I don't know where they're actually going all, like, anyway. And then the dendrites are also branchy, but they don't go very far away. They're just there so that other axons can connect to them, right? And so the axons are kind of like Mr. Tickle, right? There he is with his arms out. So, yeah, branchy dendrites. And then, so typically a neuron will connect to 1,000 other neurons through its axon, and it will have another 1,000 neurons coming in on its dendrites. That's a very standard arrangement. Okay, so let's see. So I want to make this kind of like a Japanese analogy for this thing. So imagine a crowded train with 100 billion passengers in it, right? 100 billion passengers, and each passenger has 1,000 arms. And they've crowded into the train and they've spread their arms out all over the place, right? Now don't, slow down, I'm not going there, okay? So they've all got an umbrella, right? In every hand has an umbrella, right? You can imagine this is a Japanese train. Every hand has an umbrella. Some of the umbrellas are like pointed fairly harmlessly, maybe at your arm or your leg. Some of them are aimed straight at somebody's nuts, right? Some of them are like just kind of going to give you a gentle massage on your back, you know? And what happens is everyone's kind of stressed, and once one of them gets too stressed, he just goes, Yamadeo, like that, with 1,000 umbrellas. And it does what it does, right? Some people are made, some of the passengers get happier, some of them get grumpier, right? And some of them go over the edge, and they do the same thing, and they go, yeah, and they do that, and so you get these waves and cycles of shouting and jabbing, right? And this is what it actually looks like in a fish's brain, a zebrafish, right? So you get these waves and cycles, right? So you can see, like, these are like the cars there's sort of like clusters of neurons or cars in the train, and then some of the neurons connect over to other cars and they send signals, and sometimes the whole thing is going to just go to the whole brain. Okay, so did it do it? Okay, cool. So yeah, and so that's kind of you thinking, right? That's what we think anyway, is what's going on in your head. This is consciousness, everything, memories, it's all this kind of a thing. But the problem is that in this train, everyone's just wearing a grey suit with a little bit of white. How would you study that? How would you actually dig in and figure out what the hell is going on, who's talking to who, that kind of thing. So Thomas and his colleagues, they study things like, why is this one, why does he have so many hands, right? Or like, why is his umbrella so sharp, right? And so there's a problem with this. They're all grey. It's very hard to tell what's going on, right? And in that video, they were able to make them transparent, and they put a chemical in there that makes a flash when the neuron fires. But you still can't actually really study what's connected to what, because transparent is even harder than grey. So they have these fluorescent proteins, and they genetically engineered a mouse so that each of its brain cells would produce these proteins. And it's kind of a random selection of which, there's 4 different colors, and each cell would pick some number of those colors and produce it. And let me see, I've forgotten what my next slide is. Yeah. So they did this with transfection, right? Now, transfection was a word I had never heard before. So I kind of looked it up. Transfection can result in unexpected morphologies and abnormalities in target cells. This is a great line for a zombie movie. I don't want it in reality, okay? It sounds, it's kind of terrifying. So, what to do? So this is what it looks like, though, right? It's pretty amazing, really. Like they found that when they counted it, they could find about 90 distinct colors among the things that they were able to trace. And you can see, you can actually trace, like, you can get in there with your microscope and trace a path, and they mapped out like a cluster of neurons, 300 or 400 neurons. They're able to tell exactly what's connecting to what. And yeah, it's amazing. I think there's some people who mightn't think it's amazing. I think genetically engineered brain rainbows might seem like the liberal agenda gone mad for some people. I really want to show this paper to Alex Jones and see what he does with it. But the thing is that, when the zombie apocalypse comes, and it is coming, right? When it comes, do you want your brain to be eaten by a filthy, shambling zombie? Or do you want it to be eaten by like a My Little Zombie, like singing Broadway musicals and making bitchy comments about your fashion choices? So, let's see. I really didn't want to, I was like, I don't have anything to put up there. But I've forgotten what I wanted to say next, sorry. It's difficult because we don't ever do this material before or again. So, they were able to make the colors are stable, like the whole length of the cell is the same color. The colors are stable over time as well, so they're able to make time-lapse videos of inside a mouse's head, like over the course of 6 days, and they could see that some neurons have actually moved around and made different connections and things like that. And the paper doesn't really say how you make a time-lapse movie inside a mouse's head. I expect that mouse would probably have been a bit happier doing makeup testing than brain science, but so actually I'll tell you a little bit about my own science background. 2 minutes? Okay. I studied science. I was a researcher for a bit. I worked with mice. I wrote a couple of papers. The first paper I wrote was called on the remote control of mice through the release of electrical signals, right? And we took kind of little shock collars and Wi-Fi connected shock collars. We put them on the mouse. We drove them, controlled them around a track. It's like Mario Kart. We had PlayStation controllers. It was awesome. We flicked wasabi peas at them for the green shells. It was yeah. Come on, they're mice. It's not like they were missing a meeting or something. But we got some protesters for that. In fairness, it got pretty scary. Some of those vegetarians are surprisingly well built, and I had to leave that lab. and I went to another lab, wrote another paper. It was titled on the remote control of mice through the release of chemical signals. And so this time it was like maybe the smell of cheese over here, or the scent of a lady mouse over here. You know, I thought it was a lot nicer for the mice, but some people are never fucking happy, so I had to leave that lab too. But it made me think. I wrote these 2 papers and the protesters came. I wrote one more paper on the remote control of animal rights protesters through the release of scientific papers. Yeah, you're the mouse now, bitch. So turns out animal rights protesters, violent protesters, they don't really care about being caught in a carefully constructed catch-22 situation. So I don't do that anymore. Let me see. So a lot of the stuff that I've talked about, it's in the lab, and it won't affect your life very soon. But there's one thing that I wanted to show you, which are these motherfuckers. Robo-Roach. Have you heard of this? This is $160, and you can buy it on the internet. No roach not included, right? And then it's Wi-Fi controlled. You can control it from your phone. It actually connects to the antenna nerves of a cockroach. Watch. He's just driving a fucking roach around the place. This is insane. Yeah, right? And I don't know, I think like if you think that CIA and Mossad and the KGB aren't already like doing this with much like really nice small versions of this with cameras and microphones, like you are deluded. This is coming. This is the future. But the future also has rainbow brains, and it has cures for a lot of other things as well. So hopefully it's more on the cures and the awesome stuff than the Big Brother roach stuff. Anyway, okay, cool. That's everything from me. Thank you very much.
Keep it going for Fergal Day, everybody. Isn't he great? Oh my goodness. Okay, so thank you so much, Fergal. Guys, if you do have any disagreements with any of the things Fergal has been doing with animals, don't approach him about it, because he has an army of remote-controlled mice and he will use them. So it's dangerous, is what I'm saying.